And this week, I'm really excited to offer a session with Tony, who is a health educator for the and Harriet Schaffer Cognitive Empowerment Program. And if you've met Tony, you know that he's really passionate about dual tasking, which is one of the things that we're going to be getting into a little bit today. But if you want to know more about Tony, he has a background in exercise science with a clinical concentration. Here at the Cognitive Empowerment Program, he develops and interprets the motor assessment batteries that we do, all the little physical tests that we do here in the program. He leads those. And he really is passionate about making things accessible. So if you are dealing with any injuries, if you're recovering and all, we'll have some seated options available to you as well. He's going to tell us a little bit about what dual tasking is, why it's beneficial, and why, if you have a goal of delaying that decline in memory, you might be interested in this conversation about dual tasking. I was recently at, maybe many of you were there with us there at the Healthy Aging Study event that we had recently with Dr. Parker, and we had jazz music and food she did for her study retention. And everybody on stage talked so much about how important exercise is for brain health. If you want to delay that loss of memory, exercise and healthy eating habits are the key. It's also the first thing that people don't want to do when they start embarking on this path. When people get into these exercise classes at CEP, it's usually the one they want to skip. But we're here to remind you why. To maintain brain health, to preserve what you have as long as possible. And what we do know is this is the way. So Tony, are you ready to go over there?
I am ready to go. Hopefully you're hearing me loud and clear.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of an echo, but I'll let you get started. I'll come help you with some of the tech stuff on the microphone. I'm actually going to let you go ahead in a moment and pull up your slides. Next week, we are going to be doing Thanksgiving break, so we won't have any classes next week. We're going to return with a little bit of chair yoga the last week of November. And I'm really excited about this topic on 12/6 in December, enjoying the holidays with cognitive impairment, a framework for celebrating special occasions. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the daunting task of going through the holidays with your family and your friends next 2 or 3 weeks here at CEP Live. And if you have any questions at all, this is how you can reach out to us, that email at empowerment@emory.edu. But Tony, I'm going to go ahead and let you pull up your slides and get started with your session for today.
Thank you so much. Let me pull these up. And then if you can just confirm for me that you're seeing the right view.
Yes, I can see that.
All right, perfect. So thank you so much for that introduction, and hello, everybody. It's good to be back again. And like Megan said, I'm going to be talking a little bit about dual tasking. So I'll be talking about what exactly I mean when I say dual tasking. And I'll talk about why we should dual task, especially here our participants have MCI. So why should a person with MCI do dual tasking exercises? And then I'll give you a few examples. We'll do some dual tasking exercises together. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and let's start it up. So dual tasking exercises, right, or dual tasking is exactly what it sounds like. So it's performing multiple tasks at one time, right? We like to joke around and we like to say it's like walking and chewing gum at the same time, right? The brain is focused on two different things, which most times means that you have lesser attention for those two different things. So we'll come back to that. What it means to do something in a dual task manner and to do it well means you have to pay higher attention or higher focus on the objects that you're trying to do at the same time. It increases your balance. You're working on balancing two different things. And you're also working on your executive function. So part of your brain that's allowing you to process different things and kind of prioritize one over the other. So there's two different types of dual tasking that we'll be talking about today. One is motor dual tasking, and another is motor cognitive dual tasking. We're really going to be focusing on the motor cognitive dual tasking, right? So motor cognitive dual tasking, before we jump into this slide, motor cognitive dual tasking is when you're performing a cognitive and a motor task simultaneously. So this could mean I am walking while I am saying something aloud that I have to actually focus my attention on. So that may be going through something that I've memorized, or maybe even doing a dance where you're moving your body and remembering the steps that you're walking through, right? So normal aging, of course, is associated with cognitive decline. So that cognitive decline is normal with aging. However, of course, with MCI, we see a steeper decline, right? So what we like to do here at CEP is when we bring in our participants, we do a test of that dual tasking. The test we do here that actually simulates that dual tasking is called the timed up and go. So a tester would have the participant do a task where they're walking around and they're counting numbers at the same time. And not only are they counting numbers, but they're counting numbers in a specific frequency. So that may be by threes, by sevens, so on and so forth. The key there is to do that cognitive task at the same time as the motor task. Now that's different from our motor dual tasking. So an example of motor dual tasking, you might have remembered when a person was younger, or maybe your kids or grandkids, they may pat their head and rub their belly at the same time, right? So they're doing two different motor tasks at the same time. So slightly different, motor and motor cognitive. Again, we're going to focus on motor cognitive today. Okay. So I'll go to the next slide. What we're going to do here, okay, we're going to talk about why we should dual task. So we all know that aerobic training, so walking, running, things like that, have a positive effect on our brain health. Research has also shown that resistance training also has a positive effect on cognition. In addition to that, we all know that brain training or cognitive training itself also has that effect, that positive effect of slowing down or maintaining our cognitive health. So new research is showing that since both of those aspects, both of those training methods, motor through aerobic or resistance training, and cognitive, through cognitive training, calendar training, both have positive effects on cognitive health, then putting them together in that dual tasking should also have a positive effect on our cognitive health. And of course, this is kind of relatively new research, but there are studies out there that show that in a controlled group study, that the people who do that dual tasking exercise sometimes have a better or no change on their cognitive health over time, right? Other benefits to us, or other benefits for us when we're doing cognitive training and motor training at the same time, of course, is you're doing a lot in less time, so you're kind of getting that time back. You're also getting that greater mental stimulation, right? So you're really working hard, you're working your body, and you're working your cognitive skills at the same time. It really takes a toll on you a little bit more than just doing one or the other. Of course, we want to slow our cognitive decline, and it's also fun to incorporate games, into our exercise. One thing we do here in all of our different exercises, we try to say it should be fun. So anything that you want to do, any lifestyle adaptation should be fun or should motivate you to keep on doing it. So if going to the gym is kind of tiresome and boring, it may be time to add something different, something that keeps you cognitively stimulated and that you enjoy at the same time. So the next thing I'm going to talk about again is that motor versus motor cognitive. So a lot of exercises in the gym are already motor dual tasking. So a person might be doing a squat at the same time as an overhead press, right? So they're working their body in two different ways. So the brain still has to think about those two different functions. The good thing is over time, our muscles learn. So you guys have heard the word muscle memory. So I may not always have to think, okay, I need to squat and I need to push. And our body kind of remembers that. So motor cognitive is slightly harder. Like I said, that executive functioning is at play. So you're really having to think through, and that may be something that you've memorized, maybe something that you've done for a long time. And that's why you see dancing as a method of dual tasking, right? you memorize or you learn a routine, and then you have to move your body through that routine while you're thinking of that routine, right? So some examples of our cognitive task and motor movements is counting backwards by threes as you do bicep curls, right? One that we like to do in class together is we will do a modified jumping jack at the same time as we count in different patterns. So we may be counting by fours, maybe counting by fives or sixes, but we'll do it forwards and backwards. So we like to keep on our toes, and that way we're still working that cognitive exercise at the same time as our motor exercise. Another fun one that we like to do together is while we're doing lunges or squats, is we'll go around the room and through all our participants, we'll have them say the months of the year, but in reverse order. So imagine that. That could be kind of tough. But over time, we see our participants in our classes, they're getting it. It gets a bit easier to do as you're doing that motor exercise at the same time. And the fun thing is that these exercises can be done with a partner. So again, it's really important to do an exercise or to do routines that keep you stimulated, that are fun for you, that you enjoy. Otherwise, it's not really going to stick. It's not going to be a habit. And what we're here at the Cognitive Empowerment Program teaching is that we're showing you habits that you can take and not only rely on here, but go forward through your life with those skills. So a couple takeaways here, and then we'll do a couple different dual tasking exercises. Dual tasking exercises can help slow cognitive decline. Remember, cognitive decline is a normal part of aging, and in certain populations, like our MCI populations, there's a steeper decline. So anything you can do, including exercise, health, nutrition, sleep, can and will benefit you, but you do have to stick with it, right? Other thing is not to overcomplicate. So I may do a lot of high-level dual tasking. That's because I've been doing it for a while now, right? But a simple one that I like to do, and I'll show you guys here, is I may just walk in place. I'm marching in place. And as I march in place, I'll count by threes. Okay? And I can start from 0 and count by threes and see how high I can go. Or I can challenge myself and start at 100 and count backwards by threes, all while you're marching in place. Or let's say you're taking a walk and you can do that counting trick. Right? Remember, you're getting that cognitive benefit and there's no equipment needed, right? You don't need to buy any certain service or any equipment. All you got to do really is have your imagination as you do these exercises, and you can try and get that extra benefit of dual tasking exercise. All right? So what we're going to do, we're going to try a couple of these dual tasking exercises. Thank you so much for allowing me to share that with you guys. And what we're going to do here, okay, again, with all of our exercises, all we'll need is a non-rolling chair. Okay, I have my non-rolling chair here. So I'm just going to adjust this camera a little bit so I can catch my whole frame. So you just need a non-rolling chair and maybe a water or something to keep you hydrated, all right? All right, I think we look much better now. And before any workout, what I always have us do is do a very good warm-up. Okay, so let's start from my head, and you can do this seated or standing. You're just going to do some head turns upwards and downward, which is allowing our neck to move through its natural range of motion, upwards and downwards. And notice I'll turn to the side. I'm standing up nice and tall. If I was seated, I'm doing the same thing seated. So I'm just sitting up nice and tall as I look up and down. Let's do that a few more times. And very good. So next thing we're going to do, I'll face you guys again. Again, you can do this seated or standing. We're just going to look over to our right shoulder and then to our left shoulder. All right, back and forth, nice and gently. Remember, your range of motion might be slightly different than my range of motion. The key is to listen to your body and feel if you're going a little too far. If you're going too far, you can go a little bit less as you turn. All right. A few more, then we'll switch. and back to the center. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to bring our ear to our shoulder. So you're going to gradually bring your ear to your right shoulder, come back to center, and then bring your ear to your left shoulder and back to center. Let's do that several times. And one more each direction. All right, very good. Next thing we're going to do, I like this one here. We're going to do a shoulder shrug. But watch, when I shrug up, I'm going to keep it there for a second and then slowly release. All right, sometimes I like to have my hands on my thighs as I shrug up. That way I can push up and then slowly release. Let's do that several times. Shrug up and slowly release. 3 more. Shrug up and slowly release. And you can follow your breathing with your movement. So breathe in as you shrug up and slowly release your breath with your shoulders. 1 more. Shrug and release. All right, very good. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be marching in place. Again, marching in place can be done seated or standing. And it's time to introduce our first dual tasking exercise here. Okay? I always like to keep my chair nearby just in case I need it as a support. Okay? And that can be a wall, something non-moving and sturdy. Okay? Now, as we're marching in place, one game that we like to do to warm us up in our class is go through the alphabet and give different words for each letter of the alphabet. All right? So I know I can't hear you guys, but you can join me. Give me different words for the letter A. Letter A, I got albatross. Hopefully you got something. B, I got balloon. C, cardio. D, David. E, English. F, fish. G, giraffe. H, healthy. I, indifferent. J, jumping jack. K, kangaroo. L, llama. M, for Mario. N, for Nancy. O, octopus. P, platypus. Q, quickly. R, regal. S, starfish. T, television. U, under. V, Venezuela. W, Washington. X, xylophone. Y, for Yellowstone. And Z, for Zambia. All right, very good. Great job, you guys. Hopefully you got through the alphabet like I did. Some letters take a little longer than the others. So I'm marching in place a little bit here just to keep it going. That's one example, all right, of our dual tasking warm-up exercises. Let me teach you guys a fun one here. So with our class, what we like to do is a game that I've called math plus movement. All right, so what we're going to do together, I'm going to say a simple math problem. All right, it's an even, odd, addition or subtraction math problem. What we'll do, so let's say I say 1 plus 1. If I say 1 plus 1, the answer is 2. 2 is even. What you're paying attention to is if the answer is even or odd. So since 2 is even, we're going to do an even exercise. This is our even exercise. It's a torso twist. All right? And I'll give you another math problem. Let's say I say 1 plus 2. Answer is 3. It's odd. Odd, we're going to do an odd exercise. All right? So the odd exercise will be a box lift. Okay? So again, if the answer is even, we do a torso twist. And if the answer is odd, we do a box lift. All right, we'll go through a couple math problems. All right, try your best at home. And remember, this can be done seated as well. Let me show you. Torso twist while we're seated. And a box lift, you're just leaning forward, arms straight, and raising arms up overhead. All right, so seated or standing, up to you. Let's do our math plus our movements. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 2 plus 2. I'll pause and let you remember the movement. It is a twist. What about 2 plus 3? All right, that's a box lift. 7 minus 5. Twist on that one. 6 plus 3. There we go, box lift. How about 12 minus 8? There we go, that's a twist. How about 10 minus 7? Lift on that one. Let's do 2 more. 5 minus 4. Another lift. And 6 plus 2. That's a twist on that one. There we go. All right, how did you guys do? Hopefully you got them all right. If not, that's okay. Just an example of how you can work your mind and your body at the same time. I'm marching in place. This allows me to get my active rest. When I say active rest, I mean that I'm keeping my heart rate up as I'm resting. So I'm not doing that workout movement, but I'm still getting exercise. All right, great job, you guys. Next thing we're going to do, okay, is another fun one that I got. This is the last one. We'll do a nice cool down stretch and we'll call it for today. All right, so what we're going to do are true false questions, but there's a twist. All right, so what we're going to do is everybody's going to start seated. If the answer to the true false question is true, you stand up and you remain standing until the next question. Okay. If the answer is false, you sit down. Okay. So if I have 2 true answers in a row, I'm going to remain standing, right? Same thing if I'm seated for the false questions. All right. So now if you're seated, you can use your arms. So you can stand up for true and arms down for false. All right, you guys ready? So everybody's down at first. We'll do 5 true false questions. You ready? They're going to be silly, but hey, you got to get the movement right. In 3, 2, 1. The capital of Georgia is Auburn. All right, you should be remaining seated. It's not Auburn, it's Atlanta. All right, next question. The month before this current month has a Halloween holiday. All right, that's a true one. You should be standing. Okay, next one. The state to the south of the state that we are in, and for those of you out of state, we're in Georgia. The state to the south of the state that we're in is Oregon. You're sitting down on that one. There we go. False. And last one, the state to the west of the state that we're in is Alabama. All right, so we should be standing on that one. Thank you so much for joining me in my fun and games, you guys. The good news is when you make it fun like that, when you're doing those cognitive exercises, you get an added benefit for your cognitive health, all right? So just a fun way to change things up. You know, you might not always want to lift weights all the time. You know, though lifting weights is good, there are other things that you can add on to make yourself just enjoy that session just a little bit more. All right, we'll do a quick cool down, and then we'll wrap it up for today. So whether you're seated or standing, take your left arm, bring that across your body. You're pulling that arm into you. Hold that arm in place. 10-second stretch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release and switch sides. 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Next, you're going to have one hand on your side, the other hand's going up and over. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch sides. Same movement. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next thing I want you to do, I want you to take your fingers and interlace them behind you, right? And you're going to pull back It's going to open up your chest, allow you to get some nice deep breaths. Whether you're seated or standing, I'll sit down just to show you. I'm doing that same movement, pulling back, taking some deep breaths. And with the next deep breath in, exhale and drape over and allow your back to stretch. If I'm standing, same thing. I just drape over and allow your back to stretch. And breathe in. Oops, up. Hold them down to the side. All right. Last things we'll do, we're going to do some leg stretches. If you're standing, you'll step your left foot forward. And we're just doing a reach forward. All right. You might not be able to reach your foot. That's okay. You're just reaching towards it. If you're seated, same thing. You're just extending that leg and sliding down the leg, stretching and reaching. The key here is that I'm seated, so my back does not touch the back of my chair, so I can get a nice good stretch. A couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's switch legs, doing that same stretch. Extend and reach. And 3, 2, 1, coming back up. And with that, everybody, we have finished our session for today. Thank you so much for joining me in our dual tasking today. I hope there was something that you can grab from it, whether it's walking and counting, or maybe you might do some true false with your spouse or your friends. And hey, make it fun. The key here is exercise. And anything that should be good for you, that should stick, should be something that you enjoy, right? So I appreciate you all. Have a good rest of your day. I hope you enjoy your Wednesday, and we'll see you back next week. Well, 2 weeks, actually. We'll be out for Thanksgiving. So have a happy holiday. Enjoy. Eat some good food and come back ready to exercise. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, everybody. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a little bit of chair yoga, followed by a conversation about how best to navigate the holidays with mild cognitive impairment. So, Tony, thank you so much. We'll post this video to YouTube today. And it's nice to be reminded of the why we do these things, why it's important. And it's to maintain what we have as long as possible. So make it a priority. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Thanks, everybody.